The historic nature of this pandemic and the severe economic downturn it has occasioned has made it necessary for us to table such an adjusted budget. The supplementary budget sets out a roadmap to stabilize debt by improving our spending patterns and creating a foundation for economic revival.
The South African economy is set to contract by as much as 7.2%. That is according to Finance Minister Tito Mboweni as he delivered his supplementary budget speech on Thursday afternoon. Key to this issue is just the fact that COVID-19 has thrown the South African economy into disarray, and because of the 500 billion rand stimulus package that was announced by President Cyril Ramaphosa a few weeks ago, during the speech, the minister actually gave a dire picture of what the South African economy is looking like and what the effects of COVID-19 have actually been.
The South African economy is now expected to contract by 7.2% in 2020. The main budget deficit is projected to be 14.6% of GDP. South African unemployment has also risen to around 30.1% in the first 3 months of this year. Gross tax revenue collected during the first 2 months of 2020 was 142 billion rand, compared to our initial forecast for the same period of 177.3 billion rand. Gross national debt will be close to 4 trillion rand, or 81.8% of GDP by the end of this fiscal year.
In addition to these issues, it also means that the country, which is set to spend over 2 trillion rand for the first time, is going to have a budget deficit set at around 16% of GDP, or around 760 billion rand, because of that shortfall. But in terms of where the money is actually gone, it's actually gone towards unemployment benefits, which have given about 23 billion rand so far. There's also been the TERS, or the Temporary Employer Relief Scheme, that has given out its money. Healthcare spending in the country has actually been set to increase by about 21 billion rand as a part of the scheme, and at the same time, social distress grant has actually gone up, and that has been allocated at around 41 billion rand.
The wide gate opens to a path of bankruptcy. A sovereign debt crisis happens.
Debt is going to be a big issue going forward, because at the moment, South Africa is actually, for every 1 rand that the state actually earns in revenue, they're actually paying about 21 cents, or 21% of the money is actually going towards financing costs. And by financing costs, we're just talking the interest portion of the loans that are actually needed to actually keep things going.
If we remain passive, economic growth will stagnate. Our debt will spiral upwards, and debt service costs will crowd out public spending on education and other policy priorities.
So going forward, they have something that's called zero-based budgeting, which is basically where you take each and every line item on a budget and you start from scratch, because typically the way that government has tended to allocate its budget is they look at the previous year's performance, what did a certain department in government spend, and then they'll allocate their budget based on that.